You are watching StratNewsGlobal. I'm Ramananda Sengupta. We are here at the Raisina Dialogue 2025, and with me we have a very, very special guest. We have Ambassador Lundeg Purevsuren. Is that right, sir?
Yes.
He's a former foreign minister of Mongolia, and he's here for the Raisina Dialogue. Is this the first time?
Yes, first time the privilege.
Right, sir. So then that's the first question I want to ask you. What has been your experience here so far?
I think it's quite interesting.
With,
I come just directly from Europe. Also after the Munich Security Conference and others, it's quite neutral, and therefore I think many interesting discussions here.
Okay.
So the big players are here, all Americans, Russian delegation, and also all over the Asia and then also Africa, and then that is good platform to discuss and then sit together in the big spiritual tradition of India to discuss, and that enjoyed very much.
Is this your first visit to India, or have you been here before?
No, I have been before. I have been before in my official capacities, but first time now as a outside after government.
You're Once you come to India, you're always an insider.
No, thank you.
So, sir, I just wanted to ask you that, India and Mongolia, not too many people really know what is the relationship between the two countries. If you could just give me a brief idea of what do we do? Is it more people to people? Is it economic? Is it because, it's tucked away somewhere to the north of China, and I'm not very sure that there is a really lot of people to people connect, but I'm sure there must be.
Yes, we have, Mongolia is naturally sandwiched between the two big countries, Russia and China, but we are considering India as our spiritual neighbor. So that's the official, what's the ordinary Mongolians are expecting from India. We have the traditions, the religions, the contacts, and then also India is considered as officially one of the most important strategic partners. And we have the regular high-level delegations, and most remarkable is India is helping Mongolia to build the first refinery. Mongolia is 100% depends on the Russian oil, and then that's the great, it's the biggest project which we are now on the midway to implement, 1.6 billion in the Indian credits, and that I think shows what is the content about it. And then we have also many good close cooperations, also dialogue in the defense sector and also in economics. And then I hope that more and more Indian citizens going to discover Mongolia, and then I think we are between us only one big country, and then I think we should keep together, and then at least this in Asia, Eurasia is a big continent, and then also some Mongolian, I think, citizens not so aware about the possibilities of India, and then I think Mongolian business, even Indian business, should discover each other more and more for the business. I think for that is the people-to-people exchanges. It's I think first measures we should work on that.
Sir, the only thing that when I looked at Mongolia on the map, you have China in between, and you're sort of almost landlocked. There's Russia on the other side. So if we were to trade with you, we'd either have to, if you were to trade by land, you'd have to send it over China, or you'd have to go all the way around to Russia and then send it down again, which I suppose would add to the cost. So is that a problem?
Oh, that's the one issue I think we should work closely together. My last posting as a government official was the ambassador to WTO.
Oh.
Yes, it's India or other big countries, they don't know about exactly what is the challenges for the landlocked countries. There's more than 40 landlocked countries in the world, many in African. Also, it's developing economies, the huge challenges, And then we have the lack of the international binding laws. For example, in WTO laws, in the SPS agreement, TBT agreements, and they are defining the articles they're missing, and compared to the former GATT, we have the trade facilitation agreement. We have six articles at least facing the freedom of the transit, but there are some very important agreements of the WTO agreements, SPS and TBD. They need some work to define it, and then I think India is the big leading developing economy, and then it could help also the landlocked countries, landlocked group of countries. It's not only Mongolia; it's in Central Asia. It's India. We know this Indian government working on the plan, the India, Middle East, Europe corridor.
Right.
So it will be also more border crossing, and then it will be also more TBT issues, SPS issues, and then it should be they define it, the articles defining the also detailed the rules for the transits.
So the other thing is, I understand Mongolia is very rich in natural resources like minerals and coal and things like that, and I think India wants a lot of coal because you have very high quality coal.
Yeah.
So I understand that there was some talk of importing coal from there, but again it comes back to the same issue. Your nearest port would be what, Vladivostok, if you go that way through Russia, or again overland through China. And with China, I think there is some friction.
No, again, again, we need work together on defining that transit rights. It's we are living in the area of the multilateral world, rule-based world order. But today, also during some sessions, was very sad to hear. Some governments, even the officials saying, rule-based multilateral the order is over. So now only the bilaterally. No, it's then it's very challenging for the smaller countries.
Of course,
like Mongolia, it's the rule-based international order is important and crucial for that smaller countries. And then if the area of the power of the rule of the powers, then I think it's a very dangerous situation.
So you're saying if the political will is there, anything can be done.
Yes.
And sir, the other point that I wanted to ask you is that Mongolia, I think mostly Buddhist.
Yes.
So I remember that there was some friction over the Dalai Lama's visit and all that stuff vis-a-vis China and all that stuff. And then China tried to get tough as it tries to do with a lot of countries. Has that friction been eased now? Is that still there?
It's at some point, we are talking to the Chinese side very open, very transparent when saying that from Mongolian territory will be no. So we guaranteeing the both neighbors, to Russia and China. The government is responsible. Will be no separatists or nothing against the sovereignty of the China or Russian Federation. That's we are guaranteeing, and then you should honor also the right and then core interests of the neighbor. And on other hand, we are the followers of the Tibetan Buddhism.
Right.
So it's Dalai Lama is the religious leader, and then always a welcome guest for the Mongolian Buddhist community, and therefore his visit Dalai Lama always is on the request of the Buddhist Mongolian community, is always not the guest of the government. And then we are just always telling to our Chinese friends, saying, please accept it. That's we have an open society. We have that in the constitution. Some articles, it's the government or state guaranteeing the religious freedom, and also in return the religion is accepting the government not interfering in the government affairs and the separation of that. And therefore, I think China and Mongolia both is always an open, transparent manner. We are dealing with that issue, and then we are solved it. Till today, it's should be no problem for us.
So when I was small, whenever I would hear the word Ulaanbaatar, I would always somehow associate it with space for some reason. Is there a space connection with Ulaanbaatar? Is there something to do with space, some kind of a space station or something to do with rockets or something. I don't know why. When I was a child, I used to always connect Ulaanbaatar with the space.
No, we were part of the Cosmos or space program, which was led by former Soviet Union, and then we had some cosmonaut, in the.
So is that space station still there?
No, there was some program, but newly we have some startups, very creative Mongolian startups. They started to bring some own satellites to the space, and then we know that the space economy, what is the future, and then we are looking for one of the sectors which Mongolians are very much interested to work with. India is the space.
Again, yes,
space
India would be.
India is very creative on that, very big in that, and then I see that like Mongolia is very destiny populated, and then I think. The space is crucial for us, and then since 1 year we have also Starlink. Starlink is available in Mongolia, and then that's many business people, also tourism, foreign tourists are saying that's great, and you are everywhere connectable, and then that's also.
Do we have Mongolian students studying in India?
Yes, we have some scholarships program between governments, and then I think some Indian students are studying.
So do they become sort of brand ambassadors when they go back?
Yeah.
They go back and do they say nice things about India?
That's the that's the student exchange programs, scholarship programs. Always, it's great programs, investment in the future. Usually who's started in that country, they know their traditions, their history, also personal friends, and then in that area now today, how it look like the world. It's I think the personal relationship and then also the contacts is very, very important, and we are calling it people to people diplomacy, and that's the premier. I would say it's the premier diplomacy.
So, since you're one of the senior most diplomats out of Mongolia, and you just said you came from Europe. I mean, if I could ask you something not related to Mongolia, but about Europe right now, do you see a big sort of change in Europe because of Trump now? Did you notice anything?
Yes, I was eyewitnessing myself when the American Vice President G.D. once in the Munich Conference. That I think it was a shock for the Europeans. And on the other hand, that's a wake-up call for the Europeans. In some cases, Trump is right. It's now I just was watching the Russian session. It's before that, as American Ukraine session, they're saying, 320 million Americans giving the security guarantee for 460 million Europeans.
I know.
Yeah, and then during the first administration of President Trump, 2% of the GDP for the defense, the European was shocked. Oh no, it's too much. But now they're talking about 4%. It's I think it's somehow the wake up call for the Europe, and then I think Europeans are now slowly. Understanding, I think the new coming government in Germany and others, I think they're going to work on that.
I would say it's a wake-up call for the world, sir.
And then saying that Trump united again Europe. Yeah.
Which is a good thing, I suppose.
I think the European Union has some always very slow restrictions, and others there are some inside fightings, others, and then after that. Trump's speech or Vice President's speech now, European Union do forward very slow, very, very quickly. I think it's.
Do you see France and Germany getting along?
Yeah. It's a very interesting development, but we need to follow it, and then I think in coming years will be very, very interesting situation.
So, I mean, because coming from you, I get a very outsider's perspective of what's happening in Europe, and that's what I was looking for, because a European wouldn't tell me that. European would say, we can deal with Trump, but coming from you, it gives me an outsider's perspective of what's going on. Thank you so very much, sir. It was a delight talking to you, and I look forward to speaking to you again once you're back in Ulaanbaatar. I will send you the link to this.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
To meet you.
That was Lundeg Purevsuren former foreign minister
Yes.
of Mongolia, talking to us about what he feels about India, about how he wants to trade with India, and how hopefully India might help set up a space program for Mongolia, I think, in Ulaanbaatar. Because I was talking about that because when I was small, I used to share that with him. I do hope you enjoyed this particular edition of the show on StratNewsGlobal, and I look forward to seeing you again. This is Ramananda Sengupta.